Our main character spots a thirsty goblin squad. Does he charge in with blazing fists or a legendary sword? Nope, he flexes his skill, opening his inventory to whip out a literal monster-catching ball. He winds up throws it like a pro pitcher and it flops pathetically onto the dirt. Total silence. The wild goblins stare. Our boy stares. Talk about an epic fail. The furious green dudes immediately snap out of it and charge. Panicking, our guy throws hands, but he is getting absolutely clobbered. Right before he becomes Goblin Chow, the delayed summon finally pops. His loyal minion bursts onto the scene, saving him in the nick of time. It is an absolute massacre. The loyal goblin shreds the enemies into green confetti, leveling up and boosting its stats. But this little sidekick is just the tutorial. To unlock his full summoning deck, our guy needs to farm a mountain of monster souls. Honestly, using monsters to beat up other monsters is the ultimate cheat code. However, let us rewind the tape. Just a short while ago, society labeled him a total failure. Picture this: graduation day, the absolute peak moment for any aspiring hunter, and our boy Hanul is glowing with pride. Strutting across the Hunter Association stage, he reaches for his shiny new E-rank license. He is practically radiating ambition. Born at the absolute bottom of the awakening food chain, life basically shoved him into hardcore mode. While blessed geniuses coasted through life, he had to grind textbooks twice as hard just to survive. But reading the encyclopedia paid off. Hanul became an absolute dungeon nerd, mastering monster theory so perfectly that S-rank rookies look clueless beside him. His chest is puffed out. He is finally joining the big leagues. Enter the final boss of bureaucracy. A snobby attendant hands out the licenses, and this absolute jerk decides to ruin everything. The suit literally rips Hanul's paper dream right in half. His reasoning, E-rank trash, belongs in the garbage. It does not matter if Hanul has a galaxy brain for tactics. Without raw magical firepower, his big brain energy is completely useless. 7 years of blood, sweat, and tears down the drain. His hunter dreams shattered. Hanul hits rock bottom. So he runs to the loving embrace of video games. But fast forward 7 years and he is basically a jobless couch potato. With zero career prospects, his life has less direction than a blindfolded zombie. His only source of income, sweating buckets as a full-time streamer. He is hopelessly addicted to a brutal tower defense game called Monsters Block Monsters, or simply MBM. The goal: throw monsters at other monsters. You command an army of quirky creatures desperately trying to survive impossible waves of pure chaos. If you have ever popped balloons with monkeys, you know the vibe. But this game demands galaxy brain rocket science level strategy just to survive the tutorial. You have to micromanage your units like a crazed dictator squeezing out their hidden potential. Upgrading your units takes 1,000 years of grinding. And the worst part, if your favorite monster dies, it is gone forever. Permadeath is no joke here. All those precious stats vanish into the digital void. Because of this absolute nightmare, difficulty casual players rage quit by the thousands, proudly crowning it the worst trash game in history. But get this: a brainiac could literally slay a massive 3-star ogre using a measly 1-star goblin. And since one man's trash is a nerd's treasure, Hanul turns this garbage fire into gold. Streaming his flawless genius-level plays actually pays the rent. The community literally worships him as a gaming god. MBM became his entire universe. But tragically, his gaming empire is crumbling. Today marks the final live stream. Why? The developers pulled the plug. Trolls spam laughing emojis while loyal fans assume he will just fall back on his hunter license. The agonizing truth: he is broke, jobless, and hiding it. This secret to the public. Shaking off the nerves, he decides to go all out and just game like a madman. After all, it is his absolute final day on the server. Right now, a special system event is dropping dramatically, called the Wave. The goal is dead simple: defend your base from a literal infinite army of monsters spewing from a portal. The level this gaming god is tackling: Wave 700, pure uncharted territory. Until today, absolutely zero players have had the insane skills or dumb luck to touch this milestone. Hanul's heart is doing backflips of pure hype and panic. He clicks start, and a monstrous tidal wave of beasts erupts from the primordial gate. Facing this absolutely ridiculous stampede of death, he immediately summons his level 100 archer for crowd control. Sadly, one arrow slinger is basically a joke against this apocalypse and gets instantly deleted. Total tragedy. But hey, a true gamer never quits. Next up to the chopping block is his level 130 succubus queen. Too bad she becomes a quick snack for a giant 3-headed dog. One by one, his top-tier units get completely wrecked, leaving his castle defenses running entirely on fumes. Just when it looks like game over, the system throws a totally wild plot twist. Hitting wave 700 for the very first time actually triggers a hidden condition. A mysterious unit named Sovereign suddenly awakens and struts onto the battlefield. This Sovereign is a gloriously majestic blue-haired sword knight of completely ambiguous gender. Hanul's jaw straight up hits the floor. Normally these lords are just useless background figures. They never lift a finger. But as the monster horde lunges, this divine beauty just stands on the castle wall, looking utterly bored. Drawing a gleaming blade, the Sovereign swings it with deadly elegance. A massive wave of holy light slices through the beasts like a brutally overpowered game of Fruit Ninja. Even Hanul, who has grinded this game for thousands of hours, is completely mind-blown by this character's ridiculous damage output. Another mob of monsters comes charging. The knight jumps into the sky and blasts another blinding flash of magic, totally deleting the enemy front line. They just keep spamming attacks until absolutely nothing is left except a massive mountain of pixelated corpses. To our main character's absolute shock, the impossible wave 700 is cleared. For his whole streaming career, he thought Sovereigns were just shiny bits of wallpaper. But this is completely unhinged. The Sovereign is a walking, talking cheat code. Then reality hits him. There is barely anyone left to hype up this godly achievement. His stream had totally crashed, leaving exactly one lonely viewer sitting in the chat box. This super sketchy viewer starts pouring out massive thanks for Hanul's hard work in conquering the realm. The stranger gets overly emotional, saying that thanks to him, their world will finally see peace because he awakened their supreme lord. Hanul is totally lost. What kind of roleplay nonsense is this? But things get completely crazy when a glowing portal violently tears open right in his bedroom. A holographic blue system window pops up, announcing that he has officially awakened a brand new skill. The word skill hits him like a truck, sparking memories of his old Hunter Academy days. Instructors always said that, while rank E losers usually die fast in dungeons, a wildly lucky handful can suddenly awaken extra abilities later on. It is practically like winning the lottery, famously called a second awakening. Realizing the universe just handed him an epic respawn, Hanul decides to milk this for all it is worth. He is burning with pure hype to make a legendary comeback as a hunter. But wait. Despite this miraculous reawakening, his main stat screen looks exactly the same, a super annoying glitch that leaves him scratching his head. Suddenly, a sweet secondary system ping goes off, finally granting him the juicy patch notes of his new power. The shiny menu gives him two choices. Option A, make a deal with the Sovereign. Option B, chat with the Sovereign. Having literally zero clue what any of this means, he just YOLO clicks one. He slams the deal button. But right as the magic surges, a giant flashing red error message screams that he lacks the necessary gold to unlock it. Hanul lets out a massive groan of pure defeat. Just when he thought he caught a golden ticket, the system trolls him hard. But the glow of his gaming setup sparks a genius big brain idea. He needs to corner that one random viewer who was spamming all that fantasy roleplay dialogue. The second he boots the stream back online, the creepy lurker is instantly there. To keep things simple, let us just nickname this bizarre stalker Viewer 1. Slapping a password on the stream for a private interrogation, Hanul starts firing off the heavy questions he is absolutely dying to figure out. Since this weirdo showed up at the exact same second, his new power clicked. Hanul is totally convinced they hold the cheat codes. Skipping the small talk, he aggressively asks Viewer 1 if they caused his sudden stat boost. To his absolute shock, the guy actually says yes. Hanul always thought awakenings were just completely random acts of God. Could it actually be that the troll hiding behind the screen actually caused his reawakening? Hanul demands to know why this cosmic glitch happened. I mean, why would a god-tier entity waste time giving a washed-up gamer a respawn? The mysterious voice just shrugs it off. The Sovereign chose him. Deal with it. As for why this VIP patron is dropping such a massive buff, Hanul accidentally woke their boss up first. The admin reassures him that his zero IQ confusion will naturally clear up after a few patches. Those shiny new skills, just a little welcome gift from the Sovereign's tip jar. Hanul drops the detective act entirely hyper-focused on exploiting his new cheat codes. The chat with the Sovereign skill is currently on cooldown. Typical mechanic. He accepts the nerf, but angrily demands to know why his other skill is locked behind a literal paywall. The entity realizes it forgot the tutorial rewards and instantly drops 50 gold into his system wallet. Finally holding some digital cash, our boy can test out his gacha rolls and break the game at his own pace. Customer support fulfilled, the entity says, peace out, and logs off the stream. Hanul is completely dumbfounded. He viciously pinches himself, praying this isn't some ultra-realistic VR nightmare. But one thing is crystal clear. This awakening was absolutely no random bug. This mysterious lord is pulling the strings. Suddenly, a system notification chimes, flashing that 50 gold deposit. With premium currency in hand, he slams the activate button on his Sovereign shop skill. Boom! A massive digital marketplace pops up, flexing an endless roster of purchasable monsters. He checks his wallet. For 50 gold, the only unit he can afford is a pathetic slave goblin. Everything else is whale territory. The absolute most expensive unit is the sovereign herself, flexing an 11-digit price tag that physically hurts his broke gamer brain just to read. Obviously, he wants the boss-tier waifu, but that cost is straight up delusional. But wait, it is not the shop itself that shocks him. This UI looks like a ripped asset from his old game. The little holographic monsters spinning by their price tags are a pure copy-paste of monsters. Block monsters, just mildly, legally distinct. Since the game let him summon anything he bought, Hanul bets his life, it works the same in reality. A wildly toxic smirk stretches across his face. Who needs to hit the gym to be S-class? He will just make his summons do the sweaty part. Speaking of gold, a light bulb flicks on. In MBM, players got rich two ways: speedrunning dungeons or farming mob drops. If reality is just a patched version of the game, he needs to grind some low-level mobs for cash. The massively glaring flaw in this master plan, however, is his physical stats are currently 0. Bro cannot even punch out a tutorial slime, let alone a real threat. Out of options, he aggressively clicks buy on the slave goblin. A shiny blue summon sphere containing his new minion pops into reality. Cut to the chaotic Hunter Association lobby. Hanul is here to grab his pathetic E-rank license. After the desk lady loads up his embarrassingly blank resume, she finds 4 trash-tier quests for him. Hanul intensely scans the quest board and purposely picks the absolute worst match for his noodle arms. A goblin wiping job in the absolute middle of nowhere. The guild staff frantically warns him that this mountain is way out of network range. If things go south, he is totally dead meat. But that is exactly what our gamer wants. No audience, no stolen XP, and definitely no nosy witnesses. Silently judging this suicidal noob, the receptionist updates his guild card. Thumbprint scanned, doom sealed. She promises to ping him the quest coordinates. Hanul is greenlit for battle, vibrating with pure, unadulterated hype. Fast forward to the boonies. The desperate village elder comes sprinting out to greet our hero. The grandpa is crying tears of joy that a real hunter actually showed up. Honestly, 0 awakeners want to hike 3 mountains for pocket change. Still, the old man squints deeply, doubting this twig of a teenager can solo an entire goblin camp. He is practically mourning him already. Safety. Touched by the elder's plea, Hanul drops a hero-tier smirk and swears he will not let those filthy greenskins ruin their peace. Marching straight into the gloomy woods where the goblin camp is supposed to be, Hanul spots something completely bizarre. Instead of acting like mindless, bloodthirsty savage beasts, these goblins are just chilling by the water, taking a casual hydration break like ordinary dudes. Ignoring this weird vibe, Hanul raids his inventory and whips out his brand new familiar, currently snoozing as a squishy blue blob. Going full pocket monster master mode, he fastballs the blob like a pro pitcher directly at the clueless mob. The sphere plops down right in their faces. For a tense split second, absolute silence. Hanul starts sweating bullets. Did his gacha summon just glitch out? Catching on that this random human wants a fight, the goblins bare their nasty fangs and blitz forward, totally pumped to turn him into mincemeat. With 0 backup options, Hanul preps for some bare-knuckle survival. Not backing down, he clenches his fist, praying for a lucky punch. But right before a filthy goblin claw slices his face off, the system finally wakes up. The familiar makes a glorious screen-shaking debut, popping into reality and smashing the enemy away with a humongous bat. Getting a good look at his lifesaver makes Hanul's jaw drop. Back in his early streaming days, his very first digital minion was just a basic garbage-tier goblin. But he had spoiled that weakling with divine loot, turning a puny peon into an absolute boss who wiped out 100 waves of nightmares solo. He had proudly named that unit Gono. Scanning the summons interface, it is painfully clear this beast is wearing the exact same top-tier A-rank armor he had sacrificed sleep to farm. It hits him. This is his legendary Gono in the flesh. Gono goes totally berserk, literally ripping the 2 frontline monsters limb from limb. The last remaining goblin, using its single working brain cell, instantly nopes out and runs for the hills. Too bad for the runner, Gono is rocking the Raven's wing shoes, dashing like an actual streak of lightning. The familiar blurs across the zone and turns the goblin into sashimi before it can even squeak. Hanul just stands there, his brain completely short-circuiting. He never realized his digital buddy was this insanely brutal in real life. Battle over. The blood-drenched goblin happily trots back to his master, flashing a ridiculously cute puppy face while begging for head pats like a good boy. Hanul is struck dumb once more. Who knew a killing machine could be this freaking adorable? A shiny system prompt chimes in. Gono's affection level is at 20 out of 100. It also mentions that maxing out this bromance unlocks a sick new skill. The normally awkward gamer who was too scared to even poke a monster instantly drops to his knees and bear hugs the goblin like his long-lost soulmate. Getting back to business, Hanul spots a massive problem. These dead mobs dropped absolutely zero loot. How is he supposed to get rich? Luckily, Gano is already on it. The smart familiar jumps from body to body, plunging his hands into their chests to rip out their life energy, grabbing glowing little mana stones. A magical blue portal pops up out of nowhere, and Gano casually dunks the stones in. Trading those 3 trash-tier cores gets Hanul a sweet 30 gold coins deposited straight to his status bank. Ah, the classic fantasy trope. No physical coins drop here. You gotta rip out their cores and sell them to the system. Hanul aggressively praises Gano for being such a loot-farming genius. With his wallet looking healthier, he readies himself to carve some goblin ears for the guild quest bounty. But guess what? Those 3 chumps were just the tutorial phase. A terrifying roar suddenly echoes from the deep woods, shaking the very ground beneath them. Boom. Boom. The earth-shattering steps get louder. Giant trees are ripped apart like toothpicks as a colossal nightmare crashes into view. A freaking ogre. Hanul immediately wishes he stayed in bed today. A beast this humongous should only spawn in B-rank dungeons, or worse. Why on earth is it gate-crashing an E-rank noob zone? But looking closer, a weird clue catches his eye. The giant is huffing hard and dripping with nasty fresh wounds. It already got its butt kicked by something else. Still, an injured boss is still a boss. And to make this nightmare totally hilarious, a red system warning pops up. Gano only has 3 minutes left before he unsummons. The loyal our little guy steps up, ignoring the massive size difference. Go shoots a cheeky smirk saying, "Just watch me." Activating his magical shoes, the tiny terror blasts off at breakneck speed, charging the giant. The monster roars in rage, swinging a literal tree trunk like a bat, trying to swat our boy like a fly. But Go is way too fast. He bounds high into the sky, striking an epic pose to max out his momentum. He drops down like a screaming meteor, aiming right for the ugly mug. The beast throws up its meaty arms in panic, but our goblin Chad, he pushes harder. The overwhelming pressure is just too much. With an absolutely brutal crunch, the monster's bones snap like twigs. Cranking his buffed strength to max, Go sets off a massive shockwave. The blast rocks the whole forest. Hanul practically eats dirt, trying to stay standing. And boom, the giant is utterly flattened. Hanul's jaw hits the floor. Seeing this absurd power, he loses his cool and busts out a goofy victory dance. But wait, with barely 3 seconds left before his summon expires, Go frantically digs into the monster's chest. He rips out a fat mana core, handing it over like a good boy. Poof. He turns back into an orb. Hanul hugs a beautifully premium core. The magical shop portal pops back up. Tossing the shiny loot inside scores him 100 gold. His wallet is looking thick with 130 gold. But the system isn't done treating our boy just yet. For bagging his very first kill, he gets a sweet reward. A premium gacha ticket. The kind that promises shiny god-tier loot. Even though every gamer knows those drop rates are a total scam, he clicks use. A fancy treasure chest, glowing with mystery drops right down. Then the system drops a massive plot twist. The overpowered gear from this box isn't just for pets. He can actually wear it to fix his garbage stats. But before he can do a happy dance, loud crunching noises kill the mood. A squad of heavily armed hunters busts in. They were totally tracking the bloody footprints. And sure enough, it led them right here. But surprise, their prey is already a pancake. The second Hanul spots the group's faces, he sweats bullets. He instantly recognizes the boss lady, Yun Su. Ah, the absolute monster leading Team 2 of the elite Pungbek Guild. It clicks instantly. These guys were fighting the giant earlier, softening it up before it ran away. Oh crap. Stealing a kill from a top-tier guild. A one-way ticket to getting stomped. He tries to awkwardly tiptoe away, but Su-ah yells freeze. Her squad immediately traps him. After dropping her fancy title, she glares and points out that the mutant beast was theirs. She looks annoyed. Not just about the mess, but that someone totally kill-stealed them. Talk about maximum awkwardness. Su-ah squints at the crushed monster doing the math. How did a solo player smash this thing, even if her team chipped it down? 3 hardcore B rankers couldn't even finish the job. Connecting the dots, she comes to a terrifying conclusion. This scrub-looking dude must be an A-rank powerhouse. Suddenly respectful, she holds out her hand, trying to test the waters. The guild boss is probing for weakness, so Hanul slaps on a poker face and introduces himself. But here's the crazy part. Su-ah's holy senses tingle. An archangel is watching this guy. It completely ticks her off. She just cannot figure out why the heavens care about this average-looking nerd. Prying for secrets. She asks if he really soloed the beast. He plays dumb and nods. Her spider sense goes crazy. She is totally convinced he is hiding his true power. She switches tactics, mentioning their previous battle with the monster, adding a fake smile about being glad he stopped it. Our boy awkwardly laughs it off as beginner's luck. But Su-ah calls bull. You do not accidentally flatten a boss. Her suspicion meter is officially maxed out. To test her theory, she makes an insane offer. She will let him keep the entire bounty. That is right, the Pungbak Guild is officially giving up the loot to him. This is mind-blowing. Hanul is internally screaming, wondering why these rich kids are being so generous. But Su-ah is a cunning fox. She hits him with the fine print. Just one little question. Ah yes, a free lunch is never free. A free meal, suspicious. But then the girl awkwardly shoves her phone in his face. Honestly, Sua looks like a blushing schoolgirl trying to bag her ultimate crush. Her face is completely red, but our utterly dense Giga Chad main character is completely clueless. Meanwhile, the scene transitions to our hero, meeting the village chief, who is practically bowing in gratitude. Hanul is just genuinely happy to have secured their mountain route, listening to their tragic backstory. Wanting to return the favor, the chief offers a reward. Perfect timing because Hanul desperately needs directions to the legendary training monument. The old man points him down a specific trail, promising that it is overflowing with incredibly good fortune. Hanul is suddenly in a fantastic mood, completely abandoning his skepticism. Why? Because it is time for a gacha pull. Our boy summons his treasure chest, desperate to squeeze every drop of luck from the universe before opening it. Suddenly his phone buzzes. Surprise it is, Sua texting him about his monster hunting reward. He is honestly mind-blown that a top-tier girl is showing this much interest. The craziest part, she bypassed guild protocols to use her personal number. But Hanul is no simp. Romance is temporary, but gacha loot is eternal. He focuses entirely on the chest, a mythical item he never dreamed of holding. Sure, the drop rates are absolutely garbage, but just having a sliver of hope is enough. Hanul prays to the system gods, begging for just an A-rank drop, and finally pops the lid. A blinding aura erupts from the box, projecting holograms of legendary weapons across all tiers. The ultimate prize. An S-rank armor set blazing in blood red and gold. As the roulette spins, the light explodes into a blinding crimson flash. Our hero stares at the ultimate artifact in pure awe, and then the scene cruelly cuts to black. Fast forward to his living room, Hanul is stressing over his system mechanics. He has the gold, but the monster summoning menu is incredibly confusing. Checking his roster, he can hire a basic goblin. But then, his jaw drops. A terrifying ogre berserker is also unlocked. A goblin costs 70 gold, which is pocket change, but the absolute unit of an ogre costs a massive 420 gold. It is completely out of his budget, yet it sits there tempting him. Then a massive realization hits him. The system only unlocks monsters he has personally slaughtered. That perfectly explains why only the goblin and ogre factions are available on his screen. The ultimate catch Hanul has to become the apex predator himself. And while that sounds like a suicide mission, his recent gacha luck changes everything. Spoiler alert, our boy did not pull that fancy armor. Instead, he scored a pair of unique grade glasses loaded with absurd stat boosts. He is totally shell-shocked that the system blessed him with a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. For the record, a unique tier item completely destroys 3 A-rank items combined. He practically won the lottery. Sliding the glasses onto his face, Hanul prepares for a massive power spike. The moment they activate, he unlocks the ultimate secrets of the universe. Every single stat jumps by 5 points, and a hidden skill called Sage's Eye instantly unlocks. This broken ability lets him scan an enemy's exact stats and skills twice a day. It is literally a cheat code for scanning boss monsters. Hanul is totally mind-blown by his new power, grinning like a madman at the insane utility. He immediately contemplates hunting an elite monster just to test drive this god-tier appraisal skill. Jokes aside, this artifact is the ultimate game changer for his survival. If he can read the enemy's weaknesses, farming becomes ridiculously easy. But taking them off, a sudden wave of imposter syndrome hits him. Why is the ruthless system treating him this nicely? The anxiety of being the chosen one starts creeping in. And right on cue, a blood-red system warning violently shatters his vision. The system goes absolutely berserk, spamming deafening alarm bells and flashing critical alerts right into his retinas. Hanul stares at the holographic screen, and his blood runs freezing cold. The 701st Annihilation Wave begins in exactly 10 minutes. Our poor boy does not even have a wooden stick, let alone base defenses. His mind flashes with horrific visions of demonic legions tearing him to shreds. It is literally a level 1 noob accidentally triggering the final boss raid. Panic mode engaged, he frantically mashes the decline button. But the system smiles sadistically, warning that failure means certain death. The castle of illusions is collapsing, meaning his overpowered skills are going straight down the drain. But wait, it gets better. Hanul stares into a prophetic vision of burning cities and absolute global annihilation. If he fails, he dies. The monster wave is literally knocking at the door, and our guy is sweating bullets. A familiar portal spirals open, looking exactly like his favorite game. But Hanul is completely lost. Why the heck was he drafted into this mess? Not to mention, triggering this event means he just handed the Earth a VIP ticket to absolute doom. Talk about a ridiculous penalty. But the system does not care about his feelings. The wave starts in 10 minutes. Realizing panic will not save him, our main character slaps on his gamer face. His one and only mission: stop the monster horde. Back in the day, this was just a basic tower defense game. You just block enemies from wrecking your base. But thanks to its legendary soul-crushing difficulty level, making it look like a pure nightmare, big brain strategy is the only way to survive. You have to summon the right units at the exact perfect time. You need to flawlessly juggle defensive towers and perfectly timed items. Once you mash all of those crazy factors together, you can finally cook up a winning tactic. That is the brutal reality of how this twisted game actually works. Right now, his interface literally feels like a giant tablet. Step 1. Check the monster inventory for his grand army. Brace yourselves, folks. Our guy has a grand total of 5 units. 4 pathetic goblins and 1 lonely ogre. What a legendary squad. But surprisingly, Hanul can actually command these magnificent beasts without even spending a dime in this mode. He crosses his fingers, hoping to unlock his overpowered sovereign abilities. But the system slaps him with a giant rejected sign. Plan B. He tries to throw his gold at the shop to buy better troops. Denied again. The system locked all purchases the moment the wave was announced. Our poor guy is totally getting scammed right now. Is this system just trolling him? Wave number 71 features the terrifying Count Gular and his elite dragon brood. This absolute monster is a legendary 6-star boss, casually packing an army of 61 dragons. Facing a 6-star threat with his trash mob? Yeah, that is not ideal. Star ranks dictate absolute raw power and future growth. In this world, if the star gap is too massive, the weaker guy gets squashed like a bug. The most hilarious part: he is supposed to defeat a god-tier 6-star boss with a bunch of 1-star weaklings. The math is not mathing. Our guy is basically marching straight into his own funeral. Hanul is completely broke and out of backup options. But wait. Out of nowhere, the glorious system tosses him a pity bone. He gets exactly 1 free defensive tower and 1 item to share among his squad. Wow, how generous. Hanul is actually insulted. Does this garbage system really think a single tower will save him from 61 dragons? The odds are absolute trash. But as a veteran of this god-awful game, he refuses to quit. He instantly turns on his big brain mode, analyzing every pixel of the battlefield. Pulling from his hardcore gaming years, he searches for a glitch. With just 8 minutes on the clock, his hands fly across the interface like lightning. He sets the ultimate trap until 15 seconds remain. Strategy locked. The final countdown hits 0. Game on. The sky instantly turns black as a massive swarm of furious wyverns block out the sun. Their bloodthirsty eyes are locked straight onto his fragile castle. And leading the charge is the dreaded Count himself. The monsters dive-bomb the base, violently smashing their skulls against the glowing defensive barrier. They are desperately trying to rip it apart. The almighty Count watches in pure disgust as his elite troops fail to leave a scratch. A massive flock of wyverns jump in to shatter the wall. But Hanul just smirks. All according to plan. His genius move was selecting the infinite barrier perk, giving him a sweet flat 100 defense boost. But this overpowered shield comes with a nasty catch. It only works if the player is using units rated at 2 stars or lower. Good thing his troops are pure trash. Just as the shield holds strong, a massive wyvern blasts it with scorching dragon breath. The sheer damage nearly shatters the glass. But the barrier immediately heals itself. That regeneration is the only thing keeping them from turning into ashes. However, there is one massive, deadly loophole. The system counts every single tiny hit as -1 durability. If all 61 dragons shoot at once, the shield will instantly melt to 0. That is the ultimate trap. But do not underestimate a hardcore gamer. His grand solution: absolute spam clicking. Our guy channels his inner rhythm game champion. Every manic tap adds 1 durability point. It is literally dragon breath versus his clicking speed. His fingers are practically catching fire. But carpal tunnel is a small price to pay for survival. Barrier. But here is the million-dollar question. How does a level 1 nobody smash these literal gods? The answer is hilarious. The shield bounces the wyvern's attack right back, dealing exactly 1 pathetic point of damage. Normally, green potato goblins cannot even scratch a dragon. But thanks to his overpowered cheat item, the Hakan spoon, the tables are completely turned. This A-rank treasure ignores the level gap like a glitch. The giant lizards are actually starting to lose their absolute minds over these one-hit paper cuts. One oversized reptile glares at the ugly little goblin, making a total mockery of its existence. Yet despite breathing pure fire, it cannot do a single thing. At this turtle pace, our main character is staring down 60 agonizing hours of non-stop tapping to wipe out this flying zoo. Now, the real boss fight is keeping the shield healed for 60 mind-numbing hours. The ultimate tapping simulator begins as Hanul mashes his screen, praying his pixel minions die before his real-life sanity does. The enemy army clashes against his ultimate defense, creating the most boring stalemate in history. Hours blur together, and his gamer fatigue kicks in. Reaching for a water bottle, his entire spine turns to absolute ice. The cursed system literally paralyzes him from touching anything outside the screen. Long story short, Hanul must become a tapping monk. 0 sleep, 0 snacks, 0 bathroom breaks. Absolute monk mode. Just to survive this tutorial. Trapped in a literal gamer prison, any normal human would be crying for their mother by now. But our boy is wired completely differently. He smiles like a madman. Suddenly, a dragon throws a massive temper tantrum and vomits a nuclear fire blast, melting a huge chunk of the magical glass. Hanging by a thread and tasting death is exactly why this psycho loves this garbage game. Only 2 hours down, 58 left to suffer. If he fails, the penalty is literally game over for planet Earth. So, Hanul enters true sweat mode, locking in like an absolute god to save humanity through mobile gaming. 12 grueling hours of tapping, later his brain is mush. The chip damage is stacking up fast, but the tides are slowly turning. His green potatoes are steadily poking away at the mighty dragons. 2 giant lizards finally drop dead, but the sky is still swarming. Honestly, Hanul will take this win and ride the momentum. 3 more scaled chickens bite the dust. His gamer spirit refuses to crack. 24 hours later, he has killed 10, then 12. When more greedy wyverns dive-bomb the magical wall, 2 lesser drakes get roasted instantly. The enemy boss realizes his massive army is shrinking to goblins. More wyverns drop out of the sky like flies. And after a legendary marathon of tapping, only 2 monsters are left. But Hanul is completely out of gas. His fingers cramp, failing to heal the shattering shield. A brave goblin throws a desperate punch, but the final wyvern swats it away like a bug before unleashing a terrifying double strike straight at the base. This is the absolute end. The unbreakable wall shatters into a million sparkling pieces, shocking Hanul awake. That one micro-nap just cost him his ultimate defense. If the naked castle takes a single sneeze right now, humanity is doomed. But suddenly, a goblin named Go makes the ultimate Chad sacrifice, stepping right in front of the raging dragon. This has to be the most badass goblin in history. My guy deserves his own spin-off series right now. The ultimate David and Goliath clash begins goblin versus dragon. Go locks in with maximum main character energy and swings his tiny mace with the power of 1,000 suns. The impact is so insane, it leaves Hanul totally speechless. The mighty dragon collapses instantly, completely humiliating the enemy lord. Against all odds, the crazy wave is successfully cleared. Hanul screams like a total maniac in victory, but before he can even celebrate, his exhausted body violently shuts down. He blacks out cold, waking up to the blinding afternoon sun. He slept like the absolute dead. Rubbing his eyes, he checks the glowing system messages. Stage clear rewards drop instantly: 20 wyvern bones, 10 drake scales, and 5 pulsing drake hearts. Absolute god-tier loot. Even if he has literally 0 clue what to craft with them yet. The fancy blue screen then pops up, demanding 3 ridiculous conditions before he can finally chat with the mysterious sovereign. Requirement 1, play for 50 miserable hours. Requirement 2, survive an impossible defense. Hanul is completely baffled. Who even wants to talk to this game master, and why is it locked behind such sweaty achievements? Whatever. Our sleep-deprived king is just thrilled he already knocked out 2 of them. The VIP chat is almost his. Suddenly, the ultimate hidden reward drops. His phone screen explodes in blinding golden light, practically flashbanging his entire bedroom. While Hanul recovers from the glare, his real phone buzzes. His #1 fangirl Sua has spam called him 7 whole times. Meanwhile, at the fancy Pongbek guild, Sua's massive older brother is losing his mind. He refuses to believe a trash-tier E-rank. Nobody completely destroyed an ogre. This giant musclehead thinks our overpowered gamer is a total scammer. But Sua defends her crush, hyping up the rumors of Hanul's epic reawakening. Soo-hyuk just laughs it off. For a minute, since sudden power awakenings are practically unheard of. Right on cue, the man, the myth, the legend Hanul sprints in like his life depends on it. Knowing he kept them hanging, he immediately bows out apologies for going totally off the grid. Despite our boy groveling like crazy, Soo-hyuk still looks ready to throw hands. Why? Because our main character made his precious little sister wait 3 whole days. Sua yells at her overprotective brother to chill out while Hanul just observes their hilarious sibling dynamic. Sua then breaks down the sweet ogre loot and explains how the cash payout is going to work. But our guy wants to tackle the boring paperwork first. They march right up to the front desk, where the receptionist listens to Sua swear on her life that she saw Hanul Solo, a massive ogre. She argues that nobody else could have saved them even without a single shred of physical proof. Suyuk, activating his scary big brother aura, glares a hole through the poor receptionist, making her instantly sweat and surrender. However, she nervously stammers that officially registering a B-rank monster kill requires standard protocol. And in hunter terms, that means scanning our hero's raw stats to prove he is not completely full of it. They need to hook him up to the dreaded mana meter, which sounds like a massive headache. You see, Sua knows he just hit his second awakening, but even she could not read his hidden levels. Panicking, she tries begging them to use literally any other testing method. But Hanul, the absolute madman, just smirks, rolling up his sleeves and agreeing to take the test head-on. Next up, the glowing Mana Stone finishes scanning some random extra as a D-rank nobody. Now, it is the main event. Sua is biting her nails, but her brother thinks this is the perfect stage. He wants to see if Hanul actually possesses the raw talent needed to make the heavenly constellations lose their minds. If he is just a weakling, then he is basically trash to them. Finally, our grinning hero slaps his hand right onto the giant crystal, completely raw, with zero external buffs. It has been a hot minute since he faced this exact trial, considering his tragic first measurement happened 7 long years ago. The massive machine roars to life, scanning his core while the siblings hold their breath. Suyuk squints at the blinding light, and then the system dings with its final verdict. Hanul just stands there as his newly printed rank flashes. A freaking S rank. It is a totally absurd plot twist that leaves the entire lobby with their jaws on the floor. But here's the funniest part. Not even Hanul himself actually expected this outcome until he claimed his latest quest reward, flashback time. Our boy recently unlocked a cheat skill called the Lord's Afterimage. This broken ability literally pastes the stats of his strongest defeated boss right onto his own sheet. The catch: this ridiculous buff only lasts for 30 short minutes once a day. So basically, our guy just borrowed Count Gular's terrifying vampire powers for half an hour to completely game the system. By supercharging his mana to godly levels, he essentially faked his way through the exam. While the skill is active, his aura truly mimics an S-rank disaster. Nobody suspects a damn thing. The whole world is about to treat him like a legendary rookie. Sua is paralyzed with shock, and even the grumpy Suyuk is forced to swallow his pride and give the man a compliment. With the test utterly destroyed, Hanul is officially stamped as the absolute unit who crushed the boss. The stunned staff squeaks out that he is totally cleared. Hanul casually thanks the siblings for being his personal VIP passes. He turns to bounce, but before he can escape, Suyuk suddenly blocks his path, demanding they go grab coffee. And he does not ask as a brother, he asks as the Vice Guild Master. This crazy heavy recruitment offer makes the entire room freeze in sheer jealousy. Everyone is waiting for him to accept, but our absolute madman just unleashes maximum sass and casually rejects the Vice Master to his face. He smirks, claiming he only ever needs Sua for guild favors anyway. Dropping that mic, Hanul struts right out the door, leaving the furious brother standing there looking absolutely foolish. Back at home, our guy's face is plastered all over the national news. He fires up his live stream just as the Hunter Association formally announces his rank as a solid B rank. Quick lore drop. The association physically prevents anyone from skipping more than 3 tiers at once, hence the downgrade. Even so, his stream chat is going totally rabid, trashing the game's mechanics. Hanul just sips his drink, pretending he is totally oblivious to his own viral fame. His chat is losing their minds over the mysterious hidden S rank who told Suyuk off. They are making wild bets on him joining the top guild, while others leak the spicy rumor that he completely curved them. While the chat is busy fangirling over his alter ego, Hanul drops a bomb. He announces some brand new spicy content. For the first time, he is bringing real-world hunter action to the stream, though the chat is initially pretty skeptical. To hype them up, he casually asks for chat votes on which deadly dungeon he should solo next. The viewers are absolutely floored. Broadcasting a live raid is considered massively illegal in this world. Hunters are bound by super strict NDAs that you just do not mess with. But, plotting a hilarious loophole, Hanul reveals his genius plan. He will just flex the official clear certificate on screen and hypecast the bloodbath himself. Chat thinks he is totally insane. This broadcast is about to be absolute cinema. Those greedy guilds hoarding dungeon secrets. They're about to get completely ruined by a single, unhinged streamer. The chat goes wild. Someone begs for the Mad Dragon's Nest, but another throws 50,000 won at the giant's kitchen. Then boom. A third fanatic drops a cool 1 million won, practically screaming for him to rip the Spider Queen's legs off. The financial escalation is totally insane. Honestly, even our iron-nerved main character is sweating bullets at this massive shower of cash. He begs the chat to chill out, but then his eyes bulge at the top notification. 10 freaking million won just slammed into his account. The entire stream chat completely freezes in shock. Everyone thinks he just hooked a billionaire whale. But behind the screen, it's actually the sovereign's personal assistant demanding his attention. Hunnel gulps, wondering what kind of suicide mission costs this much money. He politely asks the VIP for their dungeon request. The mysterious backer doesn't hesitate, their target. The absolute deepest abyss of the Garden of Meditation. The chat instantly panics, screaming that this is a straight-up execution order. Why? Because clearing it is mathematically impossible. This cursed garden is split into 3 zones. The front gates, the lake, and the abyss. Sure, the entrance is just a glorified playground for rookies. But the central lake, that's where hunters go to instantly become Monster Chow. And the deepest zone, it's a complete mystery, simply because no human being has ever survived the lake to even peek inside. The absolute legend, Soo-hyuk himself, barely made it that far before hitting a brick wall and retreating for his life. And now, our crazy streamer is supposed to finish the job. Even Hunnel's system-assisted brain knows this is statistical suicide. But then Viewer 1 clarifies the absurd deal. He doesn't need to slaughter the boss. Just stepping foot into the deepest sector counts as a win. That tiny loophole makes this slightly less suicidal. Plus, the VIP promises legendary tier backing if our boy accidentally clears the whole thing. The regular viewers are practically crying in the chat, begging him not to throw away his life just for stream content. Hunnel perfectly understands that he might get absolutely vaporized. But hey, doing a quick peek and run into the abyss, he can manage that. Besides, disappointing a super whale who tosses 10 million won around like pocket change is bad for business. Sweating profusely and definitely questioning his life choices, Hunnel puts on his best streamer face. He screams into the mic that he accepts the challenge. Cut to the Hunter Bureau, where a very confused receptionist is processing his paperwork. He actually wants to solo the Garden of Meditation. Hearing that he plans to dive into the deepest sector, her jaw hits the floor. She practically begs him to reconsider this solo suicide run. But Hunnel just flashes a grin and tells her to stamp the permit. She schedules his funeral, expedition, for next week. But our impatient hero demands to go in immediately. Since he's flying solo, there's no party to organize anyway. Defeated, she books him for tomorrow, which perfectly suits his crazy pacing. With his 4 o'clock doom officially scheduled, Hunnel casually strolls out. But right at the exit, an ambush awaits. 2 very important-looking suits suddenly block his path. It's Myung-hun and Soen, elite scouters from the legendary Aegis and Sanai guilds. Our sharp-witted main character instantly connects the dots. They definitely saw his crazy system evaluation reset. Both mega guilds are practically drooling to recruit him. We are talking about 2 of the supreme big 3 in all of Korea. They start throwing around massive numbers, easily crushing whatever pathetic contract Poongbek tried to shove down his throat. But Hunnel, he completely ghosts them. He swerves past the elites, his mind totally locked onto his upcoming raid. Corporate guild politics would only chain down his growth anyway. The only thing that matters right now is conquering that garden. Speaking of which, S-ranker Soo-hyuk suddenly gets a direct call from our crazy streamer, casually dropping the bomb about his expedition. Hunnel declares he's heading straight for the abyss, the exact same nightmare zone that previously humiliated this S-ranker. He bluntly asks the veteran for beta tester intel. Soo-hyuk naturally smirks, knowing he holds all the bargaining chips in this conversation. That is, until Hunnel totally bluffs about having a secret bypass method. The vice leader's smug attitude shatters instantly. Laying out the bait, Hunnel promises to give Poongbek Guild all the public glory for clearing it on his massive stream. It's an offer too juicy to refuse. Soo-hyuk takes the hook, absolutely burning with curiosity if this rookie actually has a winning strat. Hunnel doubles down on his glorious bluff with supreme confidence. Sensing an opportunity, the vice leader tries a sneaky counterattack, aggressively pressuring the kid to sign with his guild. Naturally, our guy rejects him faster than the speed of light. When Soo-hyuk tries to act like he's the only one offering a lifeline, Hunnel drops the ultimate flex. Aegis and Sanai already begged him to join. That revelation hits the vice leader like a runaway freight train. The rival titans are already circling his prey. Hunnel twists the knife further, making it crystal clear that Poongbek's contract is basically trash tier to him. Absolutely destroyed in this mental chess match, Soo-hyuk surrenders the intel. But he drops one chilling warning. He knows literally nothing about the abyss. Plus, the dungeon's cursed geography might have mutated over the past year. Hunnel just chuckles, totally unfazed by the terrifying odds, making the absolute most of it. Our boy pulls up to the raid location, rocking his glasses. Instantly, the peanut gallery locks on. Some dude named Kwangsu flexes his Bulgul Guild badge. Hanul offers a polite nod, but Mr. Clean over here practically memorized our boy's stats. This shiny-headed snob has zero experience teaming up with an S rank, and he's throwing a massive tantrum over Hanul flying solo. What a total hater. He barks that his squad has their own agenda. Translation: don't expect a single healing potion from us. Completely unbothered, Hanul just shrugs at the terms. Egghead struts off, acting like S ranks are totally overrated. Honestly, Hanul didn't expect the hostility dial cranked to maximum on day 1. Sure, snagging this spot was pure luck. High-tier dungeons usually demand massive squads and a painfully long 30-day waiting list. These guild scrubs have been sweating in line forever while our main character just strolled right in. No wonder they are super salty. Whatever. Hanul quietly triggers his Sage's Eye to scan their stats. And wow, what a steaming pile of trash. These amateurs wouldn't survive 5 seconds in the deep zones. It basically confirms they might just be throwaway pawns for scouting. Hanul knows he'll totally ditch them anyway. Suddenly, Baldy spins around, triggered by our boy's little smirk. Hanul casually claims he just remembered a hilarious meme, but these fragile egos instantly take offense, practically foaming at the mouth for a fight. Thankfully, a staff member hits the switch. The dungeon gate roars open, vomiting ominous green lightning. The officials scream at the hunters to move their butts before the portal collapses. Believe it or not, this is actually Hanul's very first authentic dungeon dive. He steps through the rift, hyped for the unknown, while the system flashes standard raid limits. Behind the scenes, the sovereign servant drops a cheeky good luck wish, secretly throwing a massive plot twist into the dungeon's layout. The whole party materializes inside. But instantly, Egghead's spidey senses start screaming. Something is horribly wrong. This does not look like the tutorial zone. Our bald friend is sweating bullets, having absolute panic attacks, while his goons stare dumbfounded at a giant lake. Wait, water. In the starting lobby, this totally breaks all the dungeon guides. Even though Hanul is a total rookie here, he knows entrances are supposed to be a complete walk in the park. Based on Suhyuk's cheat sheet, this twisted landscape is completely off script, and then the realization hits him. Ding, a glowing system prompt crashes the party, officially welcoming these clueless hunters to the lakeside nightmare. The guild scrubs are absolutely losing their minds. Meanwhile, the system casually drops a brutal survival quest: the Pig Mallet Defense. They must protect these weird creatures from shadowy slayers until nightfall. Surviving this insane sudden death round is their only ticket across the water and into the boss zone. But the penalty for failure: complete and utter annihilation. Talk about a spicy difficulty spike. The C-rank losers are full-on crying now. They are absolutely not built for this. Kwangsu's lackeys beg him to hit the eject button. But guess what? When they mash the escape icon on their status screens, the system just laughs. The exit is locked. Egghead furiously spams the quit button, but congratulations, Baldy, you're trapped in hell. Ding. The target count flashes. 130 pig mallets. Wait, strike that, 2 just got deleted. Now it's 128. Kwangsu is basically peeing his pants. He immediately crawls to our S-rank hero, begging for some cheat code to save their sorry lives. Hanul hits him with the coolest deadpan face. Look man, I'm just as clueless, but I do have a map of this puddle. Instantly, Kwangsu's bald head shines with the light of hope. He practically kisses Hanul's shoes, pleading for the intel. Oh, now you want to be best buddies? Hanul internally dies, laughing at the sheer hypocrisy. These are the same clowns who trashed him 10 minutes ago. Time for a little power trip. He lays down the absolute law. I'll drop the map, but you monkeys follow my commands until we clear this mess. No questions asked. If you scrubs can swallow your pride and agree, I'll carry you. This totally nukes the Bulgul Guild's hierarchy, basically turning Hanul into the new raid boss, but it's not like they have a choice. Ding, another pig mallet bites the dust. The countdown of doom just keeps dropping, and Kwangsu knows they are absolutely deep-fried if they say no. Swallowing his pride, Egghead agrees. But with a pathetic catch: Hanul has to take full responsibility if they all wipe out. Wow, what a coward. Hanul is already giving them a free carry, and this guy wants insurance. Still, Kwangsu shuts his mouth and listens. Hanul goes into full raid commander mode, breaking down the twisted geography. He perfectly traces out the entire water zone. This massive body of water, chilling in the dead center, branches out into the creepy forest like a spiderweb. Egghead's jaw straight up hits the floor. How does this kid have such absolute mafox? Hanul just smirks, playing the humble card. Oh, this, just a little scouting ability. Kwangsu is dumbfounded but secretly throwing a party in his head. With a human GPS like Hanul, getting lost is impossible. Plus, everything perfectly matches the cheat sheet Suhyuk provided earlier. But let's be real. What's actually happening? Our boy is straight up flexing his overpowered sacred map. A sweet little perk from Viewer 1. A divine gift straight from the castle, meaning he can sit back and relax. The mission is dead simple. Keep the pig mallets from becoming bacon. But to save these chubby targets, tracking them down is half the battle. They all chill in the murky wetlands. split across 8 massive nesting zones. From this point forward, it is a literal speedrun. They must dash like madmen before the slayers turn the zones into slaughterhouses. Hanul plans to herd them into one megazone for an easy tower defense setup. That is phase 1 of this crazy blueprint, and they need to move. Right now, the piggy population count is dropping fast. Every second wasted means another pork chop on the menu. And, feeling the massive heat, Kwang-Soo and his squad blast off to scout the map. Still, the guy cannot help but wonder what the S rank, S. Hunter is scheming. Hanul casually drops a bombshell. He is taking the pig mallet solo. The bewildered guild leader backs off, leaving him to his own devices, granting him the sweet privacy he secretly craved. His real goal: sneak around and scan the map of the lake, because word on the street is, a juicy hidden quest is lurking here with special loot, and our guy is thirsty for that sweet reward. The grand hunt is officially on. But first, he needs to play detective and uncover 2 massive clues during his shadow scouting. Number 1, trigger the secret quest. Number 2, expose the mysterious assassins turning pigs into bacon. Apparently there are a buffet of monsters lurking around, so identifying the culprits is key. Peeking from the bushes, Hanul spots a squad of scaly lizardmen, looking absolutely jacked to the gills. His jaw drops. It clicks instantly. These muscle-bound freaks are the ruthless executioners hunting down the poor pig mallets. Suddenly, this easy-peasy mission feels like a total headache, because even though these reptilian gym bros are technically just D-rank trash, a swarming pack of them is an absolute nightmare. Deciding to play it smart and avoid drawing aggro, Hanul attempts a stealthy exit. But cue the clowns. 2 absolute buffoons strut in talking mad trash. The ultimate kicker is that they are both stomping straight toward his hiding spot, dragging a trail of mortal danger right to our boy. Loudmouth Andy acts like the main character until, swish, his head is literally deleted from his shoulders. A lizard man blitzed from the blind spot, delivering a brutal one-shot fatality to the noisy extra. A fountain of red paints the swamp. Seeing these cold-blooded killers spawn like horror movie villains, the surviving idiot completely loses his mind. He charges the beast with zero strategy. His rage-fueled fists fly in a desperate flurry of punches. The bros. Anger is off the charts as he winds up for a desperate smash. But brace yourselves for the plot twist. Every single hit did 0 damage at all. Why? Because these scaly goons are packing a broken swarm team buff. That pathetic little D-rank mob just triggered a cheat code. A 2-stage evolution instantly rockets them to a terrifying B-rank threat level. Thanks to this completely busted stat boost, the monster casually plucks the guy's arm off like a chicken wing. The hunter shrieks in pure agony, smirking. The cold-blooded beast raises its blade for the brutal execution. But wait, a shadowy blur interrupts the slaughter. The Aura King himself. Gon crashes the party and parries the strike perfectly. This absolute chad of a goblin was summoned just in time to flip the script. The bleeding C-rank scrub from the Bulgul Guild is utterly flabbergasted. Saved from death's door by a supposedly lowly goblin slave, Hanul casually strolls out of the shadows, coldly reminding the bleeding fool about his strict orders. Stay at your damn assigned post. Sweating bullets, the bulky hunter stammers an excuse that he simply got lost along the way and accidentally wandered into the danger zone. Hanul just sighs, ordering the deadweight to scramble back and chug a health potion. The main character will handle this reptilian mess personally. With a flick of his wrist, he commands Gon to sweep the trash out of the swamp. The clock is ticking relentlessly, and our S-rank boss still has a legendary hidden quest to dig up. Gon vanishes in a heartbeat, activating his signature skill, Raven's Wingbeat. He blitzes through the scaly horde with such blinding speed that they can barely register his shadow. This legendary named goblin is an absolute buzzsaw, slicing down monsters left and right before the lizards can even process their own deaths. Meanwhile, Hanul is basically munching popcorn on the sidelines, standing with his hands in his pockets enjoying the VIP slaughter show. Even with the numbers wildly in their favor, these buffed-up geckos are nothing but EXP fodder for Gon. But suddenly, a single spark of intelligence lights up in one of the lizardman's thick skulls. Using all 2 of its brain cells, it realizes going after the seemingly defenseless master is its only shot at survival. It launches itself through the air, aiming for a desperate one-shot kill. But Hanul just smirks. He instantly triggers Lord's Afterimage and borrows the monstrous stats he milked from Count Gular. Infused with pure S-rank brute strength for 30 glorious minutes, he swats the flying reptile away like an annoying mosquito. Absolute domination. By the time the body drops, Gon has already mopped up the remaining brain-dead geckos. The swamp is secure. Hanul gives his loyal goblin a proud head pat, though the master-servant bonding feels hilariously. Right on cue, the fierce goblin blushes like a tsundere, and a sweet +10 affinity pops up. Getting straight back to business, Hanul unloads the fresh monastones for a mountain of easy gold. Cha-ching. But since this is his very first Lizardman transaction, the ever-generous Lord's Castle of Illusion blesses him with a hidden milestone bonus. The system chimes, and our lucky bastard hits the absolute jackpot. Another shiny gotcha pull. Ticket. A gambler's dream. But showing rare self-control, he pockets the ticket for a post-mission celebration spin. Just then, Gon frantically taps his wrist, trying to remind Hanul that his summon timer is hitting 0. Just as our guy starts sweating over how to cheat the ticking clock, his goblin slave suddenly gets that familiar money-hungry glint in its eyes. Talk about classic goblin greed. Right on cue, the system casually drops a notification claiming he can just fork over 5 gold for an extra 10 minutes of summon time. What an absolute scam. Our streamer boy curses this shameless capitalist system. It never misses a single chance to drain his wallet dry, but beggars cannot be choosers right now. Before he can even mourn his precious gold, the ground starts shaking violently. A massive stampede of pig mallets comes charging straight at him. Cold sweat drops down his face. How on earth is he supposed to wrangle this chaotic horde of so-called easy targets? Luckily, his goblin steps up to be the ultimate hype man for the pigs. The little green guy grabs the mic, passionately selling his master as their ultimate savior, claiming Hanul is dying to protect their precious lives. The pig mallets instantly burst into dramatic anime-style tears. Moved by the fake speech, they rush him with pure gratitude. And just like magic, Hanul suddenly becomes the majestic shepherd of a monster flock. With the chaotic stampede sorted out, he gets back to exploring with his goblin buddy, absolutely wrecking any lizardman foolish enough to cross their path. But wait. When he tries to cash in his hard-earned monastones, a giant red error pops up. The system bluntly declares the castle is dead broke. 0 funds. He cannot sell a single stone until the treasury recovers. It turns out, Hanul actually maxed out the unit limit for commanding these scaly mobs. Who would have guessed the mighty castle could literally go bankrupt? Realizing there is a hard cap on his monster army, he totally drops the lizardman hunting grind. Why waste time for 0 profit? He switches gears to count his rescued pig mallets, landing at around 60 plump piggies. The system suddenly pings. 70 total saved across the board. Doing the quick math, the supposedly elite Bogle Guild only managed to save a pathetic 10. Suddenly, the pigs go completely feral. These squishy targets start sprinting in perfect sync, dragging every single surviving player straight toward the center of the lake. A grand system announcement echoes through the cavern, declaring the slaughterers have clocked out for the day. Night has officially fallen. Everyone gets a flashy congratulations for keeping the bacon safe from the butchers. And because they hit that magical 70 mark, a secret hidden objective finally unlocks. Meanwhile, the Bogle Guild members are mentally destroyed, screaming at the dungeon master to end their suffering. But just as they think they can finally log out, the system drops a new bombshell. A terrifying new trial is starting. A massive tsunami of sparkling water crashes toward the party. Just as they prepare to meet their maker, the goofy pig mallets go into hero mode and bravely body block the wave. Hanul and his goblin are left absolutely speechless by this epic sacrifice. The system chimes in, the loyal pigs are simply paying off their life debt. Hanul's jaw hits the floor. Who knew these pathetic little targets were hiding such an overpowered defensive skill? The puzzle pieces finally snap together. So this is exactly why the quest forced them to play bodyguard. Divided by, he realizes a simple truth divided by. More pigs equals more safety. Glancing over at the pathetic rival guild, he sees their disastrous survival strategy. Guild leader Kwong is drowning in despair, protected by a single half-dead pig mallet that looks ready to visit the afterlife. His entire squad is getting absolutely washed. Seeing their miserable state, Hanul actually feels a tiny bit of pity. He desperately scrambles for a grand rescue plan, and bingo. The system spoon feeds him another golden notification. The ultimate hidden quest has arrived. To clear this mess, he just needs to hunt down the true boss causing this watery nightmare. Better yet, smashing this hidden boss will instantly cancel the trial, completely bypassing the painful 10-minute timer. Hanul smirks. Time to get serious. He slaps on his magic spectacles with absolute swagger and fires up his Sage's Eye skill. His vision locks onto a menacing energy signature right on target. Zooming in, he spots the jackpot. A named boss monster, known as Zen Karuk. Let the hunt begin. Devastating skills like Cataclysmic Wave, the mere thought makes him sweat bullets, since named monsters are basically the VIPs of destruction. Taking a deep breath, he slaps his own cheeks to chill out, reminding himself that hidden quests are always a massive headache. As Gano gets hyped up, ready to blindly leap at the boss hiding behind the tsunami, Hanul grabs his collar. He orders him to sit back and eat popcorn for this fight. Why? Because zero water resistance means Gano would instantly become fish food in that lethal lake. So benching his buddy, Hanul pops open his summoning shop window, ready to hire a brand new meat shield. Scrolling through the Lord's list, he smashes the buy button on an ogre berserker. The main selling point. This big guy comes with built-in water resistance, but panic sets in a second later when he realizes that unlike Gano, this ogre is practically buck naked. Zero gear means instant death against a boss of Zen Karuk's level. Desperate for a stat boost, Hanul pulls out his premium gacha ticket, sweating heavily. Ignoring the garbage drop rates, he prays to the RNG gods. He desperately needs a miracle item capable of turning his naked ogre into a boss slayer. The ticket burns and boom, a blinding golden light erupts, forcing Hanul to squint. His jaw drops and his heart does backflips. Holy jackpot, it is an S-rank item. But wait, the hype instantly dies into total confusion. The item staring back at him does not look remotely useful for smashing skulls. Meanwhile, the raging whirlpool gets worse, leaving him zero time to complain. He must summon the big guy and slap the weird item on him. But the literal second the gear touches the ogre, the massive beast faceplants into the dirt. At the exact same time, a desperate scream echoes from a guild member drowning nearby. Hanul totally sprints over to save them, absolute disappointment, completely crushing his soul. He grits his teeth, mentally preparing to solo this boss. To make matters worse, his Lord's afterimage buff only has 12 minutes left. After that, he turns back into an E-rank weakling. But being the hero he is, he chooses to save lives first. His muscles scream as he fights the raging currents, barely holding on despite his beefed-up stats. Just as his fingers slip, and he is about to become fish food along with the drowning guy, the raging tsunami magically drops dead. Blinking in shock, he spots the ogre casually standing in the water, rocking a literal wizard hat. In a deep, majestic voice, the ogre asks if his master is hurt. It bows with perfect etiquette, introducing itself as a humble servant. What in the world? This is the least ogre-like ogre in history. Hanul's brain blue screens, utterly baffled. From his point of view, all he did was toss an S-rank hat, the Archmage Ganondorf's hat, onto the meathead. The artifact was supposed to boost intelligence stats, magically turning even a total brain-dead rock into Einstein. But he never imagined that maxing out an ogre's brain cells would create a result this hilariously ridiculous. Totally mind-blown. Hanul awkwardly interrogates his new fancy servant, asking how a grunting monster is suddenly speaking like an English professor. In response, the sophisticated ogre flexes his massive biceps. With pure pride, he explains that his master's glorious hat has totally reprogrammed his DNA, forging him into Ogre 2.0. After dropping that flex, the giant elegantly takes a knee, bowing like a loyal knight, begging for his master's next command. Sweating drops, Hanul says they need to clear up one tiny detail first. The gentleman monster eagerly nods without a second of doubt. Hanul cautiously asks if the big guy can actually use magic now. The ogre puffs his chest and proudly says yes, flexing that he literally just enchanted his wooden club. This absurd revelation fills Hanul with manic joy. The tables have finally turned. Riding the hype train, he points forward and orders his magical muscle to smash through the raging storm while he happily tailgates. Without missing a beat, the hat-wearing brute violently bulldozes through the killer waves. Caught in the moment, Hanul officially dubs him Odolph, declaring his absolute trust. Hearing his awesome new name, Odolph actually blushes hard as manly tears explode from his eyes. Overwhelmed with emotion, the giant wizard ogre roars that he will gladly lay down his life to repay this epic honor. Odolph then goes full steam ahead through the raging waters, parting the sea like Moses. Hanul totally smirks in victory. Meanwhile, the boss Zenaruk gets super paranoid, realizing some absolute madman just outsmarted his deadly magic. Even so, he foolishly thinks they cannot be a basic mage. He boasts that his ultimate barrier is absolutely unbreakable. Meanwhile, Odal smacks right into the invisible wall. He turns to his boss for orders, and Hanul simply says, "Just keep bashing the exact same spot. Pure, unadulterated brute force always wins right." The giant ogre actually tries to use advanced math to explain why this multi-layered shield is invincible. But Hanul cuts off the nerd talk. "Stop using your brain and use those massive biceps instead." Logic. Who needs it? The loyal servant obeys, winding up to smash the magical barrier like he is stepping up to the plate in the World Series. Zen Corrupt starts sweating bullets, as his precious shield actually starts cracking. Still, he copes hard. A dumb ogre cannot beat my elite magic. A hybrid of brawn and brains. Impossible. But while the lizard is busy giving his villain monologue crack, shatter, boom, the unbreakable wall instantly turns into magical confetti. The smug lizard Zen Karu completely loses his mind. A magical ogre that defies all the laws of fantasy tropes. He stares at the hulking beast rocking a cute wizard hat, completely dumbfounded that his life's work is ruined. Is he a legendary ogre shaman? Hanul politely asks if the lizard is Zenaruk, but the scaly boss totally ignores him. He is way too busy charging up a desperate counterattack. He figures the giant must be out of mana by now. This is my chance to one-shot a depleted enemy. But right as the lizard prepares his ultimate doom spell, Hanul casually orders Odol to use a long-range magic attack. Hanul expects a massive fireball or a laser beam. Instead, the brilliant ogre literally just throws a massive wooden log at him. The blind lizard completely misses the incoming tree trunk, bragging that no pathetic spell can pierce his defenses. I saw that coming from a mile away, splat. The physical log smashes him flat. His pride and his face shatter at the exact same time. The boss is knocked out cold. Hanul slowly turns to his giant and dryly points out that his grand magic was literally just throwing wood. Odol bows his massive head, apologizing for skipping magic class. Meanwhile, back at the Pong Guild headquarters, the boss is getting spammed with urgent requests to recruit the brand new S-rank anomaly, Hanul, before rival guilds scoop him up. But the arrogant leader simply waves them off. Why chase one measly S-rank when I collect them like trading cards? Back inside the dungeon, the lizard boss is fully dealt with. Odol gingerly picks up the shiny monster stone and presents it to his master. Hanul gives the big guy a well-deserved thumbs up, but the wholesome ogre insists it was all thanks to Hanul's brilliant command. After their hilarious session of passing the credit back and forth, Hanul cashes in the special soul stone with the system. The magical interface tallies up the insane loot. A rare zone expansion permit, a shiny new gacha ticket, and some gold that was tragically taxed by the broke system. The best part, Hanul can now summon the smug lizard Zen Karuk for his own defense. He pockets the loot for later and heads back to the entrance. Upon his triumphant return, he spots the blue-haired hunter wide awake. She instantly rushes over, desperate to know if he pulled off the impossible rescue. Bowing deeply, she thanks him. As Hanul casually checks on the other squad members, she confirms the whole team survived and is getting patched up. Suddenly, Kwang, the hot-headed leader, marches over. He charges at Hanul like he wants a fistfight. But plot twist. The massive dude instantly drops to his knees and begs for forgiveness. He pours out his gratitude for saving his crew and deeply apologizes for acting like a total jerk earlier. Hanul is completely stunned. He honestly thought this meathead did not know how to apologize. Smiling, Hanul offers a hand to pull the brute up. Stand up, man. Your guild needs their leader. The two share a manly handshake. Tears stream down Kwang's face as he swears to repay this massive debt. Ding. The system chimes in, announcing that the trial of meditation is officially cleared. Now comes the ultimate choice: retreat to safety or dive deeper into the abyss. The knocked-out hunters get a free teleport home, but the conscious ones must decide. When Kwang hears Hanul is pressing forward, he panics and begs him to retreat. Let us fall back and prepare. We will help you clear it later. But Hanul just smirks and flexes his personal army of absolute units. Who needs preparation when you have these guys back up? Kwang nearly wets his pants, finally realizing our crazy main character is out for blood and instantly drops his useless nagging. The terrified squad bows out with teary-eyed gratitude, leaving our absolute madman standing alone to solo this hellscape. He is casually achieving the impossible. And because he accidentally smashed through the hidden quest, the system literally throws bonus loot at his face, alongside the usual shiny garbage he normally gets. Meanwhile, clueless boss Cho Kang is still fighting off desperate pleas to hire this overpowered beast. The sweating vice captain Myung-hun and his sister are practically begging to snatch this golden ticket, but the stubborn old fool just whines about budget cuts. Plus, since this walking nuke is somehow still registered as a mere B rank, the boss completely ignores the jackpot. But instantly karma hits. His phone buzzes with a terrifying crimson alert. A red pattern dungeon has awakened, screaming that a catastrophic monster break is completely imminent. And the location, the Garden of Meditation, the exact same death trap our boy just casually walked into. Sweating bullets, the panicked boss scrambles to the scene. Hours later, this whole circus troupe of guild elites crashes the site, demanding answers from the shaking guards. The local defense forces stammer out that the entire zone has mutated into a bloody nightmare. They have chucked the civilians out of harm's way, but they desperately beg for the elite Pungbok Guild to clean up this apocalyptic mess. Myung-hun frantically screams, checking on the poor souls trapped inside. A pale suit-wearing official stutters that 6 cowards scrambled out, but one absolute lunatic strolled right into the abyss. Suddenly, heavy hitters crash the party Aegis, leader Maong, and the sword-swinging boss of the Sanore Samurai Guild drop in. Jaws hit the floor. A single madman reached the bottom. That is mathematically impossible. These big-shot bosses are scratching their heads, wondering what kind of mythical god could pull off this insane flex. The suspense is killing them until the trembling official drops the ultimate mic drop name.